Hello, and welcome back. So we finally got the video of the second part of Prepper Awaiting Porter, and it seems to be maybe part of a four-part series. One of the popular Twitter Death Stranding media people that I guess you could say that's following this is Naveem. But I'm not sure if that's how you'd say it, but that's how I say it in my head. And they're kind of thinking this might be a four-part video series where you have the prepper, then you get to see your porter, then maybe you get to see the item that's being delivered, and then hopefully at the end we will get to actually see the prepper. I think that's probably a good guess. I really thought that we might get like an album announcement. There is in the background of the first video some very faint audio if it's sped up that kind of sounds like one of the low roar soundtracks, so it could be fun to have maybe like Ryan show up as the prepper here, kind of like as an homage to Ryan's legacy. The other thing is, it would be fun to have Hideo Kojima show up as a prepper. We know from the trailer that at least one patch has his face on it, and typically we get patches from completing preppers, so it would be interesting if maybe this is where he would be at, and then we would get his patch for our backpack. Let's take a closer look at some of the footage. Some people felt disappointed, but I think they're giving away a lot just because of the environmental storytelling, so let's take a closer look. On top of the bunker, we have some, I almost feel like they are satellite dishes. They're obviously either sending or receiving signals. I wonder, could this be like the geophysicists that we see? We had a few different preppers like that. I'd have to go back and look at the list of confirmed preppers, but I just wonder, is this someone that we maybe have been sending and receiving messages with? Now, on top of that, we have a bunker that looks very different than the bunkers that we've seen in the UCA. We also have a bunker that is very different than what we've seen of the Libra Village, or the Freedom Village in Mexico. That village had a bunker that looks extremely similar to the UCA. It was metal, rounded, kind of looked, like a curved rectangular shape. You guys know, you've seen them. But this one has more of a environmentally aesthetic look. It blends in, it has coloring to help it camouflage, and I'm wondering if it does anything to like help with the heat, if that will have any environmental storytelling there. But beyond just the color of the bunker, we have the different shape. But when you look inside the bunker, you can tell that this is definitely added on. This outside facade is not the same as the inside. The inside looks like a typical prepper bunker that we've already seen. So maybe this is just an additional built on, aesthetic choice by the bunker owner, which will be fun. That gives us a little insight into their personality if they have the money, the resources, and the time to be building basically a shell for their house that is of a different look. Now we have Dolman on his hip. We can see Dolman's face there. We can also see that we have a pod, which we can assume is probably Lou. The thing that I find kind of interesting is the cargo is being carried by hand, which is something that we only saw in the Higgs quest, and I'm sure there are more that I'm not remembering, but the one that I remember the most is you had to hold the trigger button to carry Higgs wine all the way to the bunker. And upon doing about 5 of these sort of missions throughout the game, you unlock a nice gun. I'm wondering, I was just sitting here thinking, I wonder if this is maybe how we unlock the machine gun. It just seems weird that they would have him carrying something by hand when that's not a common way that he carries in the game, because you have to physically hold that trigger button. But it could just be so that it looks good for the video. Sometimes things don't have to make sense. When it comes to like the packaging, this seems like a very special package. It has the yellow corners, which I don't feel like I've seen on anything, and it also has a circular sticker that isn't recognizable to me. When we set off the sensor ring, we get the typical blue Deck lines that flow from the lights towards the bunker. This is really similar to what we've seen in every bunker that we've been a part of. The thing that I find a little bit different is the ring outside of the bunker, the blue lines. That is super similar to the UCA distros. outer wall whenever you drive through kind of the, what I would call like the gate, the entrance with your truck. You get a circular hologram like that, and it will say things like medium load, small load, and you basically just drive your truck through it. I don't remember seeing anything like this on any of the bunkers that you go towards. I mean, they always had like a do not enter sign, or like a long band across the door. We never had like these circular holograms or lights in the front of the bunker. So the backpack has some items fabricated for it already. I can't really see if there's patches, but we can definitely tell that there are some like pouches on it. And I think that implies that this is probably in Australia. It's definitely later in the game. We know that the trailer so far has only had patches or items fabricated for the backpack in the later episodes, like after episode 5. We do still have the square rectangular hologram that goes across the bunker when we walk through, but it doesn't give us any identifiers. This photo was posted to the Koji Pro Threads account, and it's one of the new sort of photos that we've had. I don't remember seeing this in any of the gameplay trailers, but what I'm noticing is that the background is very similar to what we're seeing in our photo. I'm almost wondering, is this kind of like a pre-trip photo of him arriving? You know, are these related? I wasn't totally positive we were in Australia for this teaser clip, but I'm starting to think that we are, simply because the background looks a lot like the Australia clips. The only thing that is holding me back is there are a couple clips where the Mexico teasers seem like they might have similar rocks, but I'm leaning towards this as Australia. With that, I think we'll end here. We're supposed to get another clip tomorrow, and then I think probably another one the next day. It seems like we're leading up to the June 6th gaming trailer that's probably going to come out, and hopefully we'll get some more answers. I'm thinking on May 30th, we will probably know who the prepper actually is. Put your guesses down below, and let's see who's right. Let's see, what do you think is going to come out tomorrow and the next day? All right. See you in the next video. Bye.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You need to put the like and subscribe in there.
My little brother is here, and he wants to say hello to the chat and says you should like and subscribe. All right. Bye.